Oh man, yet again, yet a fucking again. Dragon Ball Super baby bringing in that A game shit. So this episode, a lot of fighting, of course, as always. This arc is, it's at its climax right now. But let's talk about the play-by-play of this episode. For starters, I love the combination shot where you get to see the side-by-side Goku, Vegeta, Zamasu Black when they're charging at each other. Let's talk about the scythe. So the scythe is weird because it seemingly cuts space and time, and even Zamasu himself, or Black himself, doesn't understand exactly what the hell he just did. Although it is kind of weird. It kind of reminded me of Majin Buu when he was like spitting out a bunch of Buu, when the massive amounts of Goku Blacks were coming out of that portal. There was like multiple of them, and at first I was kind of weird. I was like, wait, did they fuck up the hair color scheme or something like that? Because you see Black has this really dark hair color, but it's actually to kind of differentiate between the original Black and then all these clones or whatever that have this dark hair. I think that should have been explained a little bit more, but nonetheless it was kind of, I guess, to add a distraction. And it's weird that it's so strong, this rip in time, that it was messing with Goku's perception of being able to sense ki. So I'm kind of curious. I wish it would get explained more, but again, if even Black himself doesn't understand it, then we're probably not going to get an explanation unless we had like, a narrator come in and say, so this is what happened. But whatever, aside from that, the action parts were pretty damn good. I mean, Goku punching Zamasu in the face. I will say, what the fuck was up with it taking a bajillion years for Zamasu to get to Bulma and them? Like, they were right pretty much there, maybe at most you could say a mile or two away or whatever. Like, why did it take Zamasu that long to get to them or whatever? It's like they're talking there, they're chilling there, and the comedy once again with this episode. Super is doing an incredible balance of keeping it very serious because this is a dire situation. They're fighting for their lives. It's no longer how Super was early on, because you go to the earlier arcs and it was kind of like, aside from Beerus, you go to Frieza, you go to Universe 6, it was kind of like a cakewalk. Frieza wasn't really much, they whipped his ass, and then you go to Universe 6, none of the warriors aside from like Hit was like the biggest challenge that they had aside from Beerus, but you come to this arc and they're fighting for their lives, and I absolutely love that bit. So, you get to that bit, you have a lot of different things going on, but then you got Trunks at the same time like posing like Ginyu. I love that they brought that back as well, keeping the comedy in there. But Bulma, you nasty girl. They're bringing back so many elements from Dragon Ball, and I think that's what's making Super that much better, because it's taking some of the classic comedy elements from Dragon Ball to pretty much make things a lot more funnier. Bringing back the Bulma trying to seduce people and stuff like that. Really, girl? Like, Vegeta should be a little bit ashamed at this particular point that this is his wife. The Prince of all Saiyans, the great, the legendary Vegeta, and his wife tries to seduce the villain. And I love the disgust on Zamasu's face. Zamasu is kind of like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish right here, bro? What are you trying to do? Like, honestly, it just, they keep in character. It's adding comedy at the same time while some serious shit is going on, and all around just insanity, and I love the episode. Of course, we got the fusion bit at the end, which I'm kind of curious, was it discussed? I mean, I guess, yeah, because he's, a trainee, so to speak, to be the Supreme Kai. He would know that there's fusion, because it was never really explained to them, like, if Zamasu was aware of that, but I'm assuming since, again, he was a trainee, so to speak, he would know about the capabilities of the earrings, and the name. A lot of people was hoping for maybe, like, Blackmas or Blamas or something like that, but apparently it's just Zamasu, which it makes sense. I mean, he looks just like, straight up like Zamasu with like maybe Goku's hairstyle, whatever, but essentially it's just Zamasu. It's two Zamasus in one with a mixture of Goku's body, but calling himself Zamasu, it makes more sense. Like, why call yourself Goku Black when originally you're Zamasu anyway, and you're not proud of being Goku? You don't like Ningen, so to speak, to begin with, so why not? And just right now, they're in a very dire situation. I will say one more thing that I didn't really care for was the fact that Trunks learned the Mafuba by looking at one little video, or like 10-second clip, 5-second clip of Piccolo doing it, and he was like, that's not an explanation, what the hell? So I was a little bit like, how did Trunks learn that quick? I mean, Goku was training with the turtle for how many hours? Like, I think he went like 4, 5, 6, I don't even know. He went like all night training to do the Mafuba, and Trunks learns it in one go. And it's funny because even though they sealed Zamasu, I was thinking, okay, so Trunks learns it in an instant and seals him. At the very least, he wasn't completely done, and he got out of there. And if I didn't know, based on the preview, I would have immediately assumed, wow, throughout the episode, as that happened, I would have been like, is this really how Zamasu goes down? Is this really it? So the fact that I knew that, I was like, okay, I'm confident something else is going to happen. It's not going to end this way, although it was funny as shit that, hey, we forgot the actual seal thing to, keep it closed. I'm like, what? This episode, just amazing yet again. Again, a couple complaints. Trunks shouldn't have learned that shit that soon. I mean, come on. Like, a couple tries, and there was comedy with it, with him doing the Ginyu poses. I'm like, where did he learn that from? Did Gohan tell you about that shit while y'all were training back in the day? Hey, there was these wacky Ginyu or stuff like that. Insanity, funny shit there, and all around the episode, I mean, the action, Black talking shit yet again. I will say, it did feel a little bit out of character for Zamasu. He was giving props, for starters, saying, I thought all humans, or, mortals, so to speak, were basically ants, but you kind of were impressive. He didn't say impressive, but he essentially implied that he was a little bit impressed with the fact that, they were able to kind of get him down, and they even had him in the seal and stuff like that. So it felt a little bit like maybe he gained some sort of newfound, not respect, but understanding that humans can't just be whipped around, or mortals can't just be whipped around like that, because they almost got me. And you could see he was kind of petrified about that. And it kind of messes up in a sense of them using the Mafuba for future references, because think about it for a second. If he knows now he's gonna at all costs avoid getting sealed, because Zamasu is at this particular point scared. Like you could see again, he was petrified at the thought of getting put back in that jar. So now that he's fused and he has that additional power, he's not gonna let that happen. Which, by the way, you noticed Black was really worried about Zamasu. It seems as though Zamasu is the type of person, he's a narcissist in a way. I mean, we've seen his character time and time again, but since he's a god, he feels as though he's the best, and he was actually worried about Zamasu. Like you could legitimately see he's like, oh no, I gotta get out of here. Then that's when he teleported to where Zamasu was. So there was a genuine concern, but for himself. So it's kind of bizarre that Black, in a way, and Zamasu, they're not as cut and dry as they appear to be. Like, genuinely, you can see that, first of all, Zamasu was kind of a little bit impressed, even though he won't say that. Also, note the difference, because a lot of people are saying, well, it's two of the same character, they're just using a different body. There's distinct differences at this particular point between Zamasu and Black. I think Black gets off a little bit more to the killing of humans than Zamasu, because when Zamasu had Bulma up there, which, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, it's so funny because I'm reading, the subs and stuff like that, and I'm reading the guy say, hey, he got PTSD, as I'm saying Trunks got PTSD, because he's seen the flashes back and forth from when his original mother died to seeing Bulma up there. But again, my original point, going back to it, Zamasu didn't kill Bulma. Black didn't even give a fuck. In the beginning of this whole entire arc, he didn't give a shit. He killed Bulma like it was nothing. So again, that's another distinct difference. And I mean, at this point, does it really matter? Because I'm assuming that whatever's going to happen to Zamasu and Black is going to happen, now. I don't think they're going to get separated again. So the distinct differences in their personality doesn't necessarily matter. I would say also maybe the pacing in this episode was a little bit kind of weird, because at one point you see Zamasu is charging straight at Mai and Trunks, and then at another point it's like taking him a while to get there, and then the whole clones thing, I was just kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? So pacing was a little bit iffy here and there. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too extreme, but again, the episode, just going through it between the comedic bits, Bulma trying to seduce a god. Bulma, you nasty. I ain't gonna lie, yo, Bulma, let me get your number, alright? I'm gonna do some disgusting ass shit. I'm gonna fuck shit up, and I want your number so you can try and seduce me out of it, alright, girl? We got that comedy. We got the Captain Ginyu comedy, but then you also got the action. You got the side-by-side Goku and Vegeta versus Black and Zamasu. And then the fusion. I guess one of the big things, okay, for starters, what was the name you guys wanted? Because a lot of people are actually upset about it just being Zamasu. I think that's appropriate. It would have been cooler to have Black Zamasu or Blackmas or some shit like that. But are you satisfied with the name? Are you disappointed with it? How did you feel about this episode? Again, the Trunks thing, learning the Mafuba, that was way too quick. Goku just went, I don't know how long, like an entire episode almost trying to learn the Mafuba, and Trunks does some Captain Ginyu, ha, 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 and does it immediately. So I guess that's probably another gripe I have with the episode. But as a whole, huge, monumental, crazy fucking shit. It delivers that Dragon Ball feel, that Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball. You got the comedy, and you got the action, and that's two of the best things that you can have, especially that's what makes it feel so Toriyama-like, and I absolutely love that. So your overall thoughts of the episode: are you hyped? Are you satisfied? And what are your expectations at this particular point for Zamasu, or yeah, I guess the almighty Zamasu now against Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks? I saw a little bit of like Trunks is probably gonna try and do something, but bro, I think at this point you really shouldn't be able to do too much. But then again, if he has that newfound strength, he's showcased that he's potentially a bit over Goku and Vegeta, so he probably could do more than them. I don't know. It's a kind of iffy one there. And your overall thoughts of the episode? Honestly, I'd say still very good with a few problems here or there. I was like learning that too quick and a couple issues here or there with the pacing, but as a whole, just like maybe 8 out of 10, very good stuff. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.